All right. So what we have here is a group of peach throat monitors. They're babies. I have three of them. This is a new project that I am taking on with the idea of captive breeding. These animals are very rarely ever bred in captivity. Um, they're pretty much exclusively farm hatched or wild caught. It's pretty much the same difference. Um, so I think it's important to figure out how to breed, animals that are typically wild caught in captivity, because we'd like to see these animals around in the future and everything. So it's just something that's important to me. Um, with that being said, these animals came to me about a month ago, and they've been doing really well. They were fresh imports, so they've grown a bit. Their body condition has improved. They're pretty shy. There's one in here I'm hoping to show you that actually is really starting to come around. It's pretty awesome. None of them are biters or aggressive, because I don't have a habit of reaching in there and grabbing them, chasing them, cornering them, pinning them down, or anything like that. I give them their space. I give them the respect that they demand. And they actually kind of do the same thing for me. I don't know if you saw that. That was the one that I'm thinking might be a male, doing a little bit of a dominance display, and the little one was just kind of going away. But that's about the worst it gets. I haven't seen any biting or anything like that. If there is any sort of aggression, I actually have no problem separating them. It might even be necessary in the future, but for now they are cohabitated. And I'm hoping that can persist when they're adults. Gentleman by the name of Mike Stefani. He's the only guy that I am aware of in the United States who has actually successfully bred these monitors in captivity and produced babies. Keeps his adults permanently cohabbed with success, no aggression or anything like that. So I'm hoping that I can replicate that. We'll see. There's another guy by the name of Kai Fan who's just done amazing inspirational work with mangroves, who does not keep his adults cohabbed. And mangroves and peach throats are pretty much in the same family. They're all part of what's called the indicth complex. As adults, these guys will reach about 3.5, 4 feet on average. See reports of big adults hitting about 4.5 feet. I would count on probably about the 3.5 to 4 foot range. So they're not a small monitor, but they're not huge. They're about a medium-sized lizard. The cool thing about them is that they can actually eat higher protein diet than a lot of your dwarf monitors. Like Ackies and Kimberly Rocks and that sort of thing, that need to be fed 90-95% insects. These guys can eat rodents, birds, eggs, fish, seafood, and obviously bugs. At this young of an age, it's easiest just to keep them on a staple of dubia roaches, but I also give them silverside fish, thawed out krill, pinky mice, fuzzy mice, that sort of thing. So they do get a little bit more of a variety, and they do get a little bit higher of a protein in their diet. But right now, what I'm going to try to do is do a feeding demonstration if they'll cooperate. The largest one, when they saw what I was doing, went and hid. That's the most shy one, ironically. Is the biggest one is the most nervous one. The little one is kind of alright, but it's the medium one, the one that was actually showing the dominance display earlier. That's the one that's actually the most open and the most tolerant of touch, which is pretty cool. I think all of them will eventually come around, but that one really definitely shows the most potential. So without any further ado, let's see what we can do. Oh yeah, and one thing I kind of wanted to touch on is supplementation when it comes to bugs. Let me see if I can get this to focus on the roach here. So I just kind of wanted to point this out. Proper supplementation doesn't mean that you need to coat them and make them like paper white, you know? It's a supplement. It's not meant to be a huge portion. It's just meant to just fill in the tiny little gaps in their diet. Most of the nutrition should be coming from the prey item. And the way you do that is by feeding the prey item a good high quality diet with a lot of nutrition in it. So, I don't know, maybe I'll make a video on that someday if, people are interested. But, yeah, so let's see. They pretty much all tongue feed. It's getting them to be okay with touch. That is the problem. See, smells my hand. He doesn't want to touch it. It's okay. There we go. The medium boy. Medium boy might actually come out. Come on. Come on. See? Medium boy is cool. They are some of my favorite lizards ever. Years ago I actually kept a couple of them before. I never even tried breeding, so obviously was never successful with that attempt. But even back then, they were one of my favorite lizards I had ever kept. They're just beautiful, intelligent. They actually make really decent captives. They're not ultra sensitive like some in the complex are. You want to come out? Ooh, there's the big boy actually came up to me. That's cool. Some species from Indonesia and everything, the rainforest type monitors, they can be really sensitive and really touchy. In my experience, peach throats just aren't that way. You don't keep them as hot as Ackies. In fact, their basking spot is only about 125 degrees on the surface, whereas my Ackies, their hottest spots, they have two different basking spots for my Ackies. One of them tops out around 140, and the other one actually tops out around 160, believe it or not. So, these guys would not appreciate that high of temperatures. The ambience I keep about the same. However, I do let the nighttime temperatures cool down a little bit more for these guys. So they're not, basically they're not as heat loving as Ackies are. They still like it warmer than a lot of your different pet lizards. Like pretty much all monitors do, because monitors tend to be out and about even when it's pretty hot in their natural ranges, when everything else just kind of is trying to shelter and avoid heat. Monitors kind of thrive in it. But the fact is, rainforests in Indonesia and parts of Southeast Asia just aren't getting as hot as the Australian outback. It's just, the way it is. So I don't keep them as hot. I keep them nice and humid. They do really, really well at the temperatures that I keep them at. As you can see, they have no qualms eating. I actually love that I'm able to get them tongue feeding. Just getting them to accept food off tongs in and of itself was an ordeal, And you can see big boy here, a little nervous. But, I'm working with these animals every day, and they're coming along every single day and getting a little bit more and more bold every day. Like you said, like you saw, a medium boy has no problems jumping up on me. The little one, it's kind of hit or miss. The big one is almost exclusively a no, but it will take food from tongs. And I think that's a huge deal when it comes to cohabitating monitors, because you can target feed and make sure that all of their mouths are getting full, all their bellies are getting full, and you're meeting all of their needs. So that's one thing that they actually don't have to compete for. So they don't have to, you know, it's just one less thing that can maybe cause aggression. Because the last thing we need is for these guys to be fighting. Sorry, I was gonna try and get in closer to the camera so maybe you guys can see a better shot, but there you go. Take it. You know, but yeah, like I was saying, if you can meet all of their needs, especially when it comes to food, because monitors are very food-driven animals. And I think that as long as you can make sure that they're all eating and they're all eating enough, that's one less thing that they have to become aggressive with each other over. And then they become tolerant of each other's presence, and I don't know. It's just something I'm working with. But like I said, if that in the future winds up not being the case, then I have no problem with Come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. Take it. There you go. I love these guys. Wild caught. And this is how they are. I've only had them about a month and a half. You know, babies, if they're this open with touch and feel, then maybe as adults they'll really tame down and be really good pets, and hopefully give me some of their babies in return. You know, and maybe we can introduce some captive bred and born pre-stroke monitors in the future. So, yeah, I feel like this video's been going on long enough, so, let's see, it's at about 13 minutes. So, yeah, let me know what y'all think. Comments, criticisms, questions, concerns, anything like that, let me know.